All right, we're live. We're live. Yo, YouTube, welcome everybody to the channel. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys are doing good today so far. Got you guys with a brand new YouTube video. Really quick, let me say something in Spanish for my Spanish viewers. Si están viendo este video y quieren escuchar todo lo que voy a decir en español, la segunda mitad de este video va a ser en español y voy a básicamente decir lo mismo y explicar lo mismo en español por la segunda mitad, ¿ok? All right, so let's get right into the video, man. Thank you guys so much for being here and watching. Please make sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys have not. Just had to make sure to get that out the way. But yeah, welcome guys. We are back. Gears of War is back. I'm basically making a YouTube video 3 days after the Xbox showcase that was shown to us for 2025. That was on Sunday, June 7th or June 8th, I believe. And not a lot of information was given to us. I'm not gonna lie, kind of not disappointed, but just kind of like, you know, I'm just kind of left with like a lot of questions and a lot of like things that just didn't make sense to me. I'm sure you guys are wondering like about all the information as well and kind of thinking to yourself like, you know, when is this coming out? What's the information on this? Any details? And it's, I think everybody's feeling the same type of way. So me personally, I'm just kind of glad that we got something. We're getting something new this year actually. So August 26th is gonna be the release of Gears of War Reloaded. If you guys do not know what Gears of War Reloaded is, Gears of War Reloaded is coming out this year and is the new Gears of War game that is expected to be released later on this year, aka August 26th. This should be the kind of like the pre-hype for Gears of War E-Day. Gears of War E-Day is still in the works and they have not given us any information about it, which is kind of expected. I mean, that is their main and game that is to be really good. I mean, a lot of expectations are to be for that game, you know, just going off the fact that they have been working on it for a really long time. Not a lot of information has been given about it besides the Gears of War E-Day trailer that was given to us last year at the Xbox showcase. So I'm expecting a lot for that game and I'm excited to see what they've been having and planning and working on this whole time. But for now, we got Gears of War Reloaded. And you know, before I get into any of this, you guys kind of don't know who I am. Kind of introduce myself. So my name is Alex SuMuNs. I go by SuMuNs. That's my competitive gamer tag and in-game, I guess you could say. I've been competing in Gears of War for over 10 years. Gears of War Ultimate Edition was actually the first game I technically went pro. I mean, I was really good in Gears of War 3 as well. I was playing with like a lot of pro players in Gears of War 3 and kind of like taking Gears of War 3 really competitive. That's my favorite Gears of War of all time. But yeah, I went pro in Gears of War Ultimate Edition. I also went pro in Gears of War 4 as well, Gears 5. So I've been pretty much in the competitive field in Gears of War for, you know, a really long time. And you know, I'm just gonna give you guys kind of like my thoughts and what I think about, you know, all the kind of news and the information that has been given to us so far. So yeah, that's basically me. I've been, you know, competing in Gears of War for a really long time. I've also been doing content on Gears of War since the beginning of my competitive career. I actually started uploading more YouTube videos than I did back when I was competing and stuff. So right now, not a lot to be playing for, which is kind of like why I haven't been posting content like that. But you know, we got Gears of War Reloaded coming out and the beta coming out this weekend, so I'm excited for that. So let's just get right into it. Right after the showcase, kind of my thoughts and what I was thinking. I was live streaming the showcase and everything. I'm also gonna be live streaming the beta this weekend as well as the following weekend. So make sure you guys tune into my stream. It's gonna be twitch.tv/SuMuNs. I will be live streaming the beta a lot of hours. I'm just gonna really try to play it out and see what's good with the beta. I'm excited for new gears, excited to be playing against new players, new faces, new maps and modes. We'll see what we got. Probably not the beta that's gonna be offering all that, but I'm just excited to play Gears of War. I love this game and you know, I'm here for it. So Xbox showcase thoughts. Obviously last year they revealed the E-Day trailer but no release date, and that was back in the Xbox showcase in 2024. Also they already had announced Gears of War Reloaded in 2025. They actually made a tweet. I want to say this was in March or April that they tweeted out that Gears of War Reloaded was to be expected to come out later on this year. So we already knew Reloaded was going to be coming out way before the Xbox showcase. And then coming the Xbox Gears of War showcase, Gears of War Reloaded is kind of shown to us in a trailer, and they pretty much just giving us a little bit of details such as multi-platform. Obviously Gears of War Reloaded will be on PlayStation 5. I mean, think about that, bro. That's actually wild to think about. Never in like never in my lifetime would I have thought that Gears of War would be on a PlayStation or introduced to the PlayStation scene. So I think that's pretty hype. If you're a PlayStation fan, or if you were an Xbox fan and now a PlayStation fan, now you have the opportunity to play Gears of War on the PlayStation. You do not need to go get a whole different console or PC, whatever. You could just play it on the the system that you have currently if you have a PlayStation. So it's gonna be a cross-platform. Crossplay is gonna be a thing. Xbox players versus PlayStation players versus PC. Vice versa. Multiplayer is gonna be 120 FPS, which is really good. Obviously, Gears of War Ultimate Edition, I think runs the max at 60 for multiplayer. So multiplayer will be 120 FPS, so it's gonna be a lot cleaner. That's gonna be pretty cool. 4K textures, 4K textures, just makes everything a lot smoother, a lot cleaner to be watching and playing. 60 FPS is gonna be for the campaign only, so you're gonna be able to play the campaign as well on 60 FPS if you want to go ahead and run that through. So that's kind of like a little bit of details that they're giving us a lot more. They not a lot more, but they did say more stuff about the details, not about the specs. I'm not too nerdy with the specs, so I'm kind of give you guys like a brief summary about that. And yeah, that's Gears of War Reloaded. They showed us a trailer and the specs, and that was it, man. I was like kind of confused and kind of like a little bit sad that they didn't give us more. I wanted to hear stuff about E-Day. Obviously, I think I wasn't the only one, but it is what it is, and there's a reason why we only get this kind of information at the time. And I'm not complaining. I can't complain too much. We've been kind of kept quiet and not really shown too much love, us Gears of War fans. And just this is great. This is good news, and I'm here for it. So yeah, so obviously the release date for Gears of War Reloaded is August 26th. We already knew that release date, and it's gonna be $40. The game is gonna be $40, but it is going to be free if you owned Gears of War Ultimate Edition back in 2017, I think it came out, or 2016. If you purchased that game digital copy, you should be able to have Reloaded for free. Or as well, if you have Game Pass Ultimate, the whole Game Pass experience is gonna be getting Reloaded included. So they're kind of hooking it up. I'm not gonna lie, they're kind of hooking it up. And it's kind of expected to think that Gears of War Reloaded is basically going to be Gears of War Ultimate Edition, just updated graphics, maps, character skins, all that stuff that's already in the game is gonna be kind of like, it's gonna be coming off and be ran like cleaner basically on the new systems. So we'll see what's good with that. That's pretty cool though. If you basically don't have to buy the game if you really own Gears of War Ultimate Edition. The Gears head and Gears fan like myself. I already had all these games, so I'm gonna be getting Reloaded free. And so some information about the beta, which they didn't announce in the showcase. I have no idea why they didn't showcase, or why they didn't announce the beta in the showcase, which is where they have most of people's attention and everybody's head kind of like, pretty much watching the game, watching the showcase. Everybody could be tuned in and notice that they're gonna be doing this beta, but they actually made a tweet and they pretty much said that the beta was going to be running for 2 weekends for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. So it's going to be on June 13, which is this Friday coming up, June 13 to June 15. So it's going to be 2 weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, June 13 to June 15. And it's going to start on 3 p.m. At 3 p.m. Eastern, start and end. So the beta is going to start at 3 p.m. Eastern, and it's also going to end at 3 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Okay, so 3 p.m. Eastern, that's going to be, I'm in Chicago, so that's 2 o'clock my time central. So that's going to be start and date and time for the beta. Now the maps and modes that they've already said for the beta is going to be TDM mode for the first weekend. So this upcoming weekend, you're going to be able to play TDM with the maps Gridlock, Raven Down, and Gold Rush. Those are the 3 maps that you can play this weekend. Then the following weekend, which is June 20 to June 22nd, as well as 3 p.m. for start and end time of the beta, 3 p.m. Eastern. The other mode that is going to be played for the next following weekend is going to be King of the Hill, and the maps are going to be Canals, Courtyard, and War Machine. So yeah, that's the information about the beta. That's going to be 6 days of beta, so I'm here for it. I'm gonna be streaming. I'm gonna be playing and kind of grinding out the beta, giving my thoughts and kind of seeing what's good with like the game. And obviously a beta isn't the full story of a game. Never does a beta look like the full game, but it kind of gives us an idea and how far they've been working on the game and testing out the servers, which is the most important thing, is making sure that the servers can run good and can handle the amount of people trying to get on the game. I mean, if you guys remember in Gears 5, when Gears 5 released the first 3 days, I don't even think the servers were working for the full game. So I'm hoping this doesn't happen again, because I'm a big believer that if the servers don't work the first days that the game comes out, it just kills more than half of the player base, you know? People want a working game when the game is released and supposed to be played, you know? So that's a big part of, you know, a game's lifespan, I would say. Also, if you pre-order this game, so let's say you never bought the game, you don't have anything with Gears of War, you want to get the game. If you pre-order the game, you will get Adam Phoenix and Anya for character bonus skins. So that's gonna be part of you know, if you pre-order the game. Now, yeah, that's basically about it about the showcase. I mean, that's really it. They didn't really say much. They gave us like a little podcast to be explaining about like the, you know, the features for Reloaded and stuff. They said nothing about E-Day. But yeah, I think this is a good thing, you know, from a competitive player's point of view. You know, I think this game being introduced to PlayStation is kind of crazy. Like it's really crazy to think about that Gears of War is going to be played on PlayStation in the year 2025. Like, never would I have thought that PlayStation players would be able to get on this game. So it's kind of refreshing, and it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like it doesn't make sense, but if you think about it, PS5 has a lot of players, a lot of young talent, a lot of new talent that will be introduced to Gears of War. And because everybody's like making the jokes and the memes like, oh, you know, Xbox players versus the new PS5 player on Gears of War. I'm like, I can't wait to have fun. It's gonna be like Christmas, you know, Christmas babies get on the game for the first time. But yes, that is gonna be the case. But what's gonna happen, you know, months later on, when they finally get the hang of a game, they understand how to play a game. You know, the gamers nowadays have evolved, and people will really grind out a game if they really want to, if they like it and all that. That's how I started, you know, passion. You know, I fell in love with Gears of War, and I eventually just became like addicted, and I just made pretty much my passion into like, you know, my job. And I started, you know, playing all these tournaments and joining on these teams. So yeah, but back to like the, you know, the competitive side, I did compete for like multiple organizations. I'm actually I have played for, you know, organizations that you guys are probably familiar with, like Optic Gaming, you know, NRG, Tox, you know, all different organizations that you guys are familiar with in esports. You know, Pittsburgh Knights. I competed under those you know, organizations for some time. I've also won 16 events in Gears of War. So we went on a crazy Gears of War run. For Gears of War 4, I won 15 times in Gears of War 4 and 1 time in Gears 5. So I've been around for quite some time, and I take competing really serious when there was like an esports scene, and I'm ready to come back. I'm excited for something to be announced and to be played for. There's been a lot of hype and a lot of storylines that have been created since the time that esports has ended. So you know, I'm excited to play again. But yeah, you know, Gears of War Reloaded is basically gonna be Ultimate Edition with, you know, better graphics, better servers, you know, just a cleaner game overall is what I'm expecting. I would say so myself. I don't think we're gonna see too many different maps or different mechanics. I think it's, for the most part, Reloaded will just be Gears of War Ultimate Edition with better settings. Which is not a bad thing. You know, obviously us Gears of War players, obviously I could be like, oh, I already played this game, you know, why are you guys not giving us a new game? But I'm trying to think of it as, you know, in the long term, the longevity of a game. This is kind of just like the introduction for PlayStation. I don't think it would make sense for, you know, for them to continue their series from Gears 5, especially with all the hate and all the bad feedback they were giving for Gears 5, and kind of continue that with their new game and just introduce it like that to PlayStation. I think that would just be a little bit too much, and it would be like too hectic, you know. So they kind of just went back. They took a step back and said, you know what, let's drop Reloaded for now. Meanwhile, we work on E-Day, and let's, you know, show PlayStation what Gears of War is about. Like, let's let them have, and, you know, kind of play around with the mechanics and kind of get used to Gears of War that they've never played before. So I'm looking at it like that. I think it's not bad. Gears of War on PS5 is going to be, you know, that it's gonna go down in history forever. Like in the history book, you're gonna read like, why is, you know, Gears of War on PlayStation? Now, because of PlayStation being on, because of Gears of War being on PlayStation, now this kind of question pops up in my head as well as a lot of people, is the competitive side, right? So obviously, since Reloaded is gonna be for PlayStation and, you know, all these platforms, wouldn't E-Day be on PlayStation as well? So the question is, like, for competitive, what is the middle ground, right? Like, what is the middle platform to compete on? And it's obviously going to be PC, right? I don't think they would restrict their competitive to be on Xbox or PlayStation. Like, they're not going to make all the Xbox gamers go to PlayStation or vice versa. They're not going to make PS5 go to Xbox. They're just going to make competitive on PC, which is where a lot of esports nowadays, a lot of games have their esport on PC. You know, you look at Call of Duty, you look at what other esport can I think of the top of my head? Call of Duty plays their competitive on PC. I think Halo as well, they play their competitive on PC. So it's just like that middle platform that everybody can just kind of, man, I mean, it's like the even ground. That's like the middle ground for everybody. So PC might be competitive for Gears of War. Will Reloaded have competitive? Honestly, at first my like initial thought was like, no, there's no way this game has competitive, especially the new one. But if you think about Gears of War Ultimate Edition, right? Like when I play that game and when I think about it, I think of it as an unfinished game. I always thought to myself, and I always told my friends and people that I talked to, like, Gears of War Ultimate Edition was never a finished game. It always felt like a beta, you know, the skins, the characters, the movement. It just felt like the game was never finished and they never really put time into it. They had it done, they gave it to us to play, and then that was it. It wasn't really finished. So it kind of makes sense for Reloaded to be pretty much like an updated Ultimate Edition. You know, if there's something wrong with this, they're gonna try to fix it or change it. But I could be wrong, and they could just leave everything the same. But that's what I'm saying, was like Gears of War Ultimate Edition was never a finished game. It was kind of always, it felt like a beta, literally. It didn't feel like a completed game. But even then, our esports took off with Ultimate Edition. That was where players were starting to get salary. We had these tournaments coming up, because Gears of War 3 didn't even have that type of love when it came to like esport. Gears of War Ultimate Edition started picking up all these organizations. You know, we started getting esports orgs that never would have thought of being able to be a part of Gears. You know, like I'm talking about like Team Caliber, E6, Team Enemy, Denial, Dream Team, Envious. You know, all these organizations that you guys know in esports were starting to pop up in Gears of War Ultimate Edition. And if a game like Ultimate Edition that felt like a beta to me and not a completed game can have an esports circuit and esport orgs joining, then why wouldn't Reloaded have, you know, why wouldn't Reloaded have something like that? So I don't know, competitive is still like a 50-50 in my eyes. I'm not really like 100% sure if there is or not, but we're gonna see. And if there is, then you already know that your boy's gonna be in there trying to play and trying to make the most out of it, because competing is what I live for, bro. I live for that shit. I miss it. I really do enjoy playing and, you know, competing in this game at like the highest level. So that's gonna be fun if there is. But if there's not, I'm also gonna be mad at it. You know, I'm still gonna be playing the game regardless, streaming and making some content out of it. But like another thing that pops in my head about like competitive being on PC is basically we have seen in the future or in the past where games make the switch to PC, and not only is the game different and all this stuff that plays in part, but I feel like cheaters start coming up. You know, cheaters start coming up, and cheaters just love PC gaming. So yeah, I'm just gonna I'm gonna need to like, I need a huge favor from like people making Reloaded, that we need to get rid of these cheaters and prevent them from logging into the game, because cheaters are gonna be logging in and trying to abuse everything in this game. And once a game makes a switch to PC, then that's when the cheaters start to really pop up. And yeah, it's kind of annoying to be playing against when, you know, you got people trying to actually get better and play the game you know, legit. You got cheaters. It's just kind of like, you know, ruin the whole gaming experience for you. But yeah, it's gonna be it. Reloaded should have maybe more skins, different DLC, maybe maps will get added later on. Like I said, I don't know. Reloaded feels or sounds like it would be like the remake of Ultimate Edition, like an updated version of it, but it could also just be the same exact game, just with cleaner graphics and servers. You know, they're probably not even gonna do anything to it. I don't know. A lot of ifs and buts, but yeah, I think this is good. This is good for them. This is some good hype for E-Day. It gives them some more time, and it gives it, you know, it saves them the stress from the community, and they're like, here, just play this for now. E-Day is gonna be coming out next year. Actually, I don't know. I do not know when E-Day is gonna come out. I have no expected date. I'm thinking 2026. But even then, that's kind of scary to think about. I'm not even gonna talk about E-Day in this video because I don't got information about that. Only that, you know, we're going back before Gears of War 1. You guys seen the trailer last year. I'm probably gonna be showing you guys the Gears of War Reloaded trailer at the end of this video if you guys want to watch it and didn't see it yet. So make sure you guys go stay to the end of the video if you want to watch the trailer, which I assume most of you guys already watched it. But yeah, that's gonna be it, man. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like I said, I will be live streaming the Gears of War Reloaded beta this weekend and the following weekend. I'm gonna be grinding and putting in crazy amount of hours into the beta just so that you guys can like see, and I'm just trying to see for myself what the beta feels like. So yeah, twitch.tv/SuMuNs. Tune in, leave a like on the video. I would greatly appreciate you guys leaving a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't. I upload basically strictly Gears of War content for the most part, so if you guys are into that, make sure to subscribe. But that's gonna be it. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. And yeah, it took me a while to like kind of release this video. I wasn't just gonna like drop a video the same day of the showcase and give you guys like all this clickbait and bunch of like, you know, stuff that doesn't really make sense. I really sat here and I was like, okay, I'm gonna drop a video, but I really want to kind of put my thoughts together and, you know, make a video that is worth listening to. You know, I want to listen to it myself, so I want to make sure you guys, you know, are getting some quality content. You feel me? So appreciate you guys so much. I love you guys. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, I'll see you guys in the beta weekend if you guys are gonna be playing. You know, just tune into my stream, pop in, say what's up. I should be live. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace. ¿Qué onda? Bienvenidos todos al canal. ¿Cómo están, hermanos, hermanas? Espero que estén teniendo un buen día. Aquí estamos jugando Gears of War Ultimate Edition. Tengo información, tengo noticias. Obviamente ustedes ya saben de lo que ya vimos este fin de semana para el Xbox Showcase. Estoy feliz, estoy muy agradecido que ya vamos a tener un nuevo Gears en nuestras manos pronto. La verdad, feliz y contento. Pero hay que empezar el video. Por favor, antes de que me ponga a explicar todo esto, por favor dejen un like en el video. Eso me va a ayudar muchísimo. Dejen un like, suscríbanse al canal si no ha hecho. Y pues vamos a hablar ahorita sobre el Xbox Showcase, mis pensamientos y qué es lo que pienso del Xbox Showcase. So, obviamente el año pasado nos enseñaron el E-Day trailer del juego, y básicamente eso fue en el año 2024. Y ahora el año de 2025 igual, nomás nos enseñaron un trailer, pero ahora para el juego de Gears of War Reloaded. Gears of War Reloaded es para que salga el 26 de agosto de 2025, so ya en unos meses va a salir el juego. Pero lo que nos dijeron y lo que nos informaron en el showcase era que Xbox, el trailer, o sea, el juego Gears of War Reloaded va a ser disponible para el PlayStation 5, para el Xbox y para la PC. O sea, multiplataformas que pueden jugar el juego. Diferentes consolas se van a poder conectar y jugar el juego. El multijugador se va a jugar a 120 FPS, que eso es mucho más FPS que hemos estado jugando ahorita el UI. 4K de texturas. 60 FPS para la campaña. Entonces, eso es ahorita lo que nos han dicho. También sacaron un buen en diferentes specs, que pues no me acuerdo, pero esos son los specs que me acuerdo que les puedo decir. Como les dije, el juego va a salir el 26 de agosto y el juego está en $40. Pero si tú ya compraste el Gears of War Ultimate Edition en el año 2016-17, tú vas a tener la oportunidad de tener el juego gratis porque tú ya compraste el Ultimate Edition. So, el juego te va a salir gratis si tú compraste Ultimate Edition en 2017. Acuérdense de eso, no lo vas a tener que comprar. También creo que si tienes el Game Pass Ultimate, el juego también puede venir. El Gears of War Reloaded va a salir con el Game Pass. So, otra información que nos dijeron. Primero, casi yo sé que mucha gente aquí viendo este video como que no me conocen, no son conocidos con el canal. Déjame les explico quién soy. Me llamo Alex SuMuNs. Soy jugador profesional en Gears of War desde más de 10 años. O sea, yo jugué profesional en este juego, en el Ultimate Edition, profesional en el Gears of War 4, profesional en el Gears 5. Ha ganado 16 eventos en Gears of War, so 16 veces campeón, 15 veces en el Gears of War 4 y una vez en el Gears 5. Y vengo haciendo contenido de Gears of War desde antes de que empezaba el competitivo. Y pues igual, como muchos de ustedes, yo empecé jugando este juego por el pasión y estaba adicto a este juego. Y la verdad, pues hice lo que era mi pasión como mi trabajo. Y no tuve la chance y gracias a Dios tuve la chance de competir y visitar todos estos lugares del mundo para jugar este juego. Y aquí sigo años después todavía aquí jugando Gears of War y listo para jugar el Gears of War Reloaded. Nos dijeron que la beta va a salir de Gears of War Reloaded este fin de semana, el viernes, el 13. Y también la siguiente semana, también el 20 de junio, también va a haber otra Reloaded beta. So vamos a tener 6-7 días de jugar la beta de Gears of War Reloaded, que eso está bastante bien. La verdad estoy muy contento y listo para jugar la beta y a ver qué va a haber sobre eso. Yo voy a hacer live stream en Twitch sobre la beta, creo todos los días, para que se puedan meter a mi canal de Twitch. Mi Twitch es twitch.tv/SuMuNs. Ahí lo pueden escribir y meterse. Bueno, me van a ver vivo. So, pasen al canal, salúdenme, inviten. Vamos a andar ahí jugando la beta. So, la información de la beta. So, la beta es del 13 de junio al 15 y eso empieza a las 3 de la tarde. A las 3 y empieza a las 3 de la tarde y también acaba a las 3 de la tarde el domingo. Y esto es para Xbox, PlayStation y para PC. ¿Ok? So, empieza a las 3 de la tarde y se acaba a las 3 de la tarde. Igual. Y yo estoy hablando 3 de la tarde Eastern Time. Soy yo que soy central. Creo que eso es a las 2. A las 2. A las 2. Empieza y se acaba de mi hora. Yo vivo en Chicago. Y entonces el primer fin de semana vamos a tener el modo de juego duelos por equipos, que es Team Deathmatch. Y los mapas serán Gridlock, Raven Down, Gold Rush. ¿Ok? El segundo fin de semana de Gears of War Reloaded Beta va a ser igual. Empieza a las 3, se acaba a las 3 el domingo. Y vamos a tener King of the Hill, Rey de la Colina, que va a ser Canales, Courtyard y War Machine. Esos son los mapas. Son 6 diferentes mapas vamos a poder probar para la beta. Y pues eso está bien. Vamos a jugar la beta ya pronto este fin de semana. No sé si ustedes lo van a jugar en Xbox, PlayStation. ¿Qué es lo que piensan ustedes de que Gears of War va a salir en PlayStation? O sea, imagínense, pónganse a pensar que Gears of War se va a poder jugar para la gente que juega en PlayStation. Nunca en mi vida pensé que iba yo a vivir en el mismo tiempo donde jugadores de PlayStation iban a tener acceso a Gears of War. Es increíble y un poco pues nervioso, ¿no? ¿Cómo va a trabajar Gears of War en PlayStation? ¿Qué tipos de jugadores va a venir o van a llegar a jugar este juego? Está bien. La verdad, mucha gente ya ha visto que están quejando que, porque este juego ya lo jugamos, que ya lo hemos tenido, que bla, 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 bla. No podían sacar ID. Y pues sí, una parte de mí dice, no, pues este juego ya lo jugué, yo he ido a eventos, ha competido en este juego, danos algo nuevo, pero también la otra parte de mí dice, no, pues esto es para PlayStation más que nada, esto es como la introducción para PlayStation, ¿no? El Gears of War Reloaded, porque no estaría bien si PlayStation o Gears of War hubiera seguido con las series siguiendo Gear 5. Después de tantas malas cosas que dijimos de Gear 5 y todo eso de Gear 5 que dijimos, no creo que ellos quisieron continuar con la series y mejor dijeron, no, hay que esperar, hay que regresar y hay que sacar a Reloaded en los momentos que sacamos ED. Y está bien, esto es para la gente de PlayStation más que nada. Ellos nunca han visto Gears of War, algunos los que somos Gears of War fans sabemos que se trata Gears of War hasta si tenemos PlayStation, pero hay gente que nunca en su vida han jugado o visto Gears of War. So, esto es una buena introducción para ellos. Y pues básicamente el Reloader va a ser como el UI, pero con mejores gráficas, mejores servidores del juego. Y pues como un juego completamente nuevo y más más clean, más arreglado y más con menos errores o glitches. So, eso es lo que estoy esperando del Gears of War Reloaded. Y pues como saben, o sea, hay mucha gente que no sabe cómo jugar Gears of War. Los PlayStation jugadores van a tener que aprender cómo correr, cómo saltar, cómo hacer un up A, cómo hacer un back A, cómo hacer cambiando de paredes y el wall bounce. Todo eso es lo que nosotros sabemos y sabemos hacer sin pensar, lo van a tener que aprender los de PlayStation jugadores. So, eso va a ser bien interesante para ver y para jugar, pero aquí vamos a estar todos básicamente en el mismo juego. Los de PC van a jugar contra Xbox, PC contra PlayStation, todos vamos contra todos en este juego. Y para mí eso es como lo mejor, que podamos compartir el mismo juego, Pero también eso es lo que como que la pregunta o la duda que me llega para mí es, pues si todos vamos a andar jugando en el mismo en diferentes plataformas, pero en el mismo juego, pues ¿dónde va a quedar el competitivo, no? Obviamente el competitivo de Gears of War siempre ha sido en Xbox, siempre ha sido en Xbox y solamente en Xbox. Pero ahora con PlayStation llegando a Gears of War, pues me imagino que la plataforma del medio para todas va a ser la PC, ¿no? No creo que Xbox va a decir, ok, pues si quieren jugar competitivo, los de PlayStation se tienen que comprar consola de Xbox y venir para Xbox. O tampoco viceversa, no van a decir los de PlayStation, oh, si tú juegas Gears of War en Xbox, te tienes que venir para el PlayStation y conseguirte una PlayStation consola para jugar competitivo. No, lo que van a hacer es hacerlo en PC, yo creo. Muchos juegos ya se juegan el competitivo en PC. Estoy hablando como de Call of Duty, de Halo. Esos son juegos que ya tienen su competitivo y su circuit en la PC. Que pues no sé cómo va a salir eso. Y yo no estoy diciendo que el Gears of War Reloaded va a tener competitivo. Ahorita voy a hablar de eso, pero sí, yo siento que el PC va a ser como donde el competitivo se va a tener que jugar en la PC. Pero obviamente con el competitivo cambiándose a PC, pues ustedes ya saben que hay mucho cheater y mucho hacker en PC. So, eso es lo que a mí me da duda y pues no sé. Ojalá que Gears of War saque un buen anti-cheat y buena, ¿cómo se dice? Una programa buena que no deje que los cheaters se metan a los servers de Gears of War, porque obviamente si vamos a PC, pues va a llegar mucho cheater, mucha gente que no sabe cómo jugar el juego, pero van a querer abusar con los cheats y todo eso. Y siempre ha pasado eso en Warzone, en Call of Duty, en Black Ops 6, Black Ops, diferentes Call of Duties que hay puro hacker y cheater, igual con Halo. Pues es lo único que le pido a Gears of War, es que por favor contracten y agarren un programa que sí no va a dejar a los cheaters que se metan. En Gears of War como pro player es muy fácil para ver quién está usando cheats y quién está hackeando. Es muy fácil como este juego. Aparte, no creo que un jugador que no sabe cómo jugar de la nada está dando todos los tiros y todos los sniper shots y todo. O sea, es bien obvio cuando alguien está usando hacks en este juego. So, ya estoy esperando eso, la verdad. No sé. Si Reloaded va a tener competitivo, eso sí es una pregunta que no sé. Mira, yo siempre para Ultimate Edition, yo siento que ese juego nunca fue como un juego completo. La verdad, Gears of War Ultimate Edition para mí siempre se me hacía o se sentía como una beta. así, porque nunca le metieron casi actualizaciones, se dice. Casi no metieron, monos o skins de armas. O sea, ese juego siempre se sentía como un juego que nunca estaba acabado. Y eso fue como un juego que nos dieron antes de Gears of War 4, igual, para no mientras para jugarlo. Pero aún así, con un juego así ni acabado y como que se sentía una beta, ahí es donde nos llegó un buen de oportunidad de esports. Ahí nos llegó todos estos eventos de Pro League y que dinero para este torneo y que, o sea, el dinero estaba ahí para competir. Y luego también los equipos, los organizaciones de esports también estaban llegando. O sea, organizaciones que nunca me imaginé que iba a llegar a Gears como como Denial, Dream Team, Enemy, Envious, E6, Team Caliber, o sea, organizaciones en ese tiempo que eran bastante conocidas y grandes, como en el juego de Call of Duty, estaban llegando a Gears of War. Hasta con un juego que ni se sentía acabado como beta, pues ahí teníamos competitivo todavía. So, eso es para mí muy padre para ver. Y yo siento que Reloaded pues está en el mismo camino. Muchos piensan, no, pues no va a tener esports, están esperando para E-Day, pero quién sabe, la verdad, quién sabe si este juego de Reloaded va a tener esports o no. Es una pregunta que todos estamos ahorita como preguntando y esperando qué van a decir. Pues yo no sé si va a tener competitivo sí o no. Para mí es como 50-50, la verdad. Pero estaría padre si se pudiera jugar como un competitivo en este juego. Pero obviamente quisiera como diferentes mapas, diferentes modos de juegos, maybe, no sé, algo diferente. O si Execution puede seguir Execution, pero como con ¿cómo se dice? Con diferentes... o sea, el modo Execution, pero como cambiado. ¿Sí me entienden? Como el Execution en Gear 5, ese está bueno. O sea, ya que pasa el tiempo de una ronda, sale un niño que tienes que jugar para la ronda. Ese es una Execution que es mucho mejor que Yui tiene. Pero no sé, eso sí es la pregunta. O sea, también tengo la duda de que, ok, el juego es $40, pero el juego te sale gratis si tú compraste Ultimate Edition en el 2017. Si es así, entonces eso tiene que decir que Reloaded puede ser el mismo juego que jugamos hace unos años, solamente con mejores gráficas y mejores servidores. Eso será el cambio. No sé, eso es lo que me pregunto yo. Pero de todos modos, estoy feliz y estoy listo para jugar Gears of War Reloaded. La verdad, esto es algo que nos pueden... Eso es lo mejor por ahorita. No es como que nos están dejando y esperando otro año para jugar hasta que salga EA. Imagínense que esperar otro año y jugar los mismos juegos que hemos estado jugando. Gears 5, Gears 4, Gears Ultimate Edition. Como que ya, yo necesito otro juego, necesito otro Gears, necesito jugar algo diferente. Y siento que ese Gears of War Reloaded es lo que va a ayudar ahorita. So, eso es todo. Esos son mis pensamientos, mis thoughts de Gears of War ahorita, del showcase y todo eso. La verdad iba a sacar el video después del showcase, pero dije, me voy a poner a pensar y tratar de como acomodar un video bien para ustedes, para no nomás subir y hacer un clickbait video, algo que les gustaría escuchar y que me gustaría escuchar yo solo de mis pensamientos de este showcase. Y pues sí, ojalá que les gustó este video. Por favor, como les dije, dejen su like en el video. Vamos a estar haciendo más contenido aquí en el canal de YouTube. Si son nuevos, suscríbanse. Muchos de ustedes que están escuchándome ven mis videos, pero no se suscriben. So, se aprecia, por favor, si pueden suscribirse al canal. Y este fin de semana, como dije, vamos a aprender stream. Vamos a andar jugando la beta. Vamos a andar practicando y vamos a andar viendo qué es lo que hicieron para este Gears of War Reloaded, qué es lo que cambiaron, qué es lo que dejaron igual y eso, no creo que es algo tan diferente al Ultimate Edition, yo digo. Y como dije, es una beta. La beta nunca las betas de los juegos casi no son tan no son tan parecidas como el juego actual completo. pero nos da como una idea y sí es como una prueba de los servidores para cuando la gente se conecta y todo eso. Que eso para mí también es como una duda y tengo un poco de... Me pone nervioso los servidores de Gears of War. No sé si se acuerdan, pero cuando salió Gears 5, los primeros 3 días que salió Gears 5 no estaban sirviendo los servidores. No te podías conectar a jugar un juego. Estaban batallando mucho los servidores de tanta gente que estaba conectada para jugar. Am, y ojalá eso no pase otra vez porque para mí eso es lo más importante, que el juego sirva cuando salga. Porque cuando un juego no sale, cuando sale y no sirva, pues la gente se va luego y ya pierdes un buen de jugadores que estaban listos para jugar un juego que ni chance le dieron porque los servidores no sirvieron, So, ojalá todo salga bien para Gears of War Reloaded. Estoy listo yo para jugar este juego y subir contenido. Y pues creo que eso es todo. Creo que eso es todo. Me gustaría saber en los comentarios qué ustedes pensaron del showcase. ¿Qué piensan de Reloaded? ¿Lo van a comprar? ¿Ya lo tienen? ¿O qué monos qué personajes les gustaría ver en el juego de Reloaded? Para mí, pues yo siento que vamos a ver los mismos monos que tuvimos en Ultimate Edition. No tanto el cambio ahí, no tan diferente, pero no sé. Se va a poner bueno. Um, y creo que eso es todo lo que les quería hablar. Muchísimas gracias a todos los que estuvieron aquí en el video. Escuchándome todo el tiempo y aquí yo nomás platicando y jugando. So, muchas gracias a todos los que están aquí. Se aprecia siempre el apoyo. Ya estamos de vuelta, chat. Estamos de vuelta. Ya nos toca jugar Gears of War otra vez. Siendo que hemos esperado como fans. Esto es algo que hemos esperado por un buen de tiempo, la verdad. Estoy contento, estoy feliz ya por fin a regresar a jugar un juego. Y pues espero que ustedes se sientan igual también. Yo sé que ustedes son fans del juego, del competitivo. Muchos de ustedes me siguen del competitivo. So, muchas gracias y aquí siguen los mismos que me han apoyado desde que estaba pues iniciando este canal. So, se aprecia mucho, los quiero. Por favor, déjenme un saludo, algo en el comentario si están aquí escuchándome todavía y los que están aquí apoyando desde el principio. Se aprecia, se aprecia, se aprecia. Si tienen una pregunta, cualquier cosa en comentario, ahí voy a estar acá abajo leyendo. Y como les dije, la beta va a estar live el fin de semana. Yo voy a andar aprendiendo streams y jugando, yo creo que en otros pro players y todo eso. So, ahí para que pues, se puedan meter y fijar en el canal de Twitch. So, twitch.tv/SuMuNs. Ahí voy a estar, ahí los veo. Cuídense mucho y los veo en el próximo video. Hasta luego. Bye.
I point blank them. Good game. And then bodies get shit on. Okay, okay. He rolls through and chunks me behind the guy. Let's go.
Who just shot me? I'm getting shot at. Relax, bro. Oh man. I'm going up.
Primed and ready. That was my last one. I got trolled tonight's stream.
Everybody was ready for the pickups. Supposedly. 20 people in the Discord.